Welcome. I don't know, what time is it? Time to get started? Okay. My name is Dr. Stephen Schwartz, and we're going around and saying, oh, wait, you guys haven't told us what was the most interesting thing you saw today?
For me, I shared a bean burger with good company. So just like people I was with.
That's nice.
I love the environment here. The energy is amazing.
I like it. I agree. It's like a maze.
Mm-hmm.
What about for you?
I went to the cacao booth.
The what's it?
Experienced cacao, the cacao sampling. She's cacao.
Cow?
Cacao.
Oh, cacao. Oh, you like cacao. Okay. Nice. Yeah, the cacao ceremony. Okay.
I don't think I can enunciate anymore.
I can feel more than I can hear. Okay, that's good. Where is the cacao people?
It's just right down there, right in the middle, just a few booths down.
Okay, great. Noted. Down with that. What was the most exciting, interesting thing you've experienced today?
The most exciting part of today for me is how many people are enjoying the new vibe table that I get to help give them access to, and listening to the people really talk about how transformative the experience is. Because I'm all about spreading the vibe.
Thank you, Leslie. And what about for you? What's the most interesting thing you've experienced
Got here
today?
a few minutes ago, not too long ago.
Okay, so I think I'm in the running.
Yes.
Okay, well, I can
actually
promise
came
you this.
here- I came here to see you.
Oh, you came here specifically?
Specifically because one of my friends sent me the link, even though I was coming here anyway, but she said you need to go see him and get on his bed.
Great. See, women always want to get in my bed. It's great. It's amazing. But I'm professional, so, different thing. Well, great. What's your name?
Melody.
Melody, nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Stephen Schwartz. Come on in. Welcome on in, everybody. And I'd like to just, not gloss over, but Leslie, I'm actually here because Leslie's a longtime friend of mine, and she had an experience on the bed. They're not beds, by the way. They're not beds, they're not couches, they're not chairs, they're not mats. They're actually vibes. And it stands for something. Repeat after me. Vibrational.
Vibrational.
Individualized.
Individualized.
Body.
Body.
Enhancement.
Enhancement.
System. So they're vibe systems. And just as a friend, I never had any expectation that she'd actually buy one, but she had a profound experience. I was like, I'm gonna buy one of these. And she's like, by the way, you should come to this event in Denver, Colorado, like in a month. And so here I am, and we have a whole community. This is Sarah. She works with me as well, and we've known each other for like 10 years, and so she's recently joined the Vibroacoustic Evolution Revolution. And my name is Dr. Stephen Schwartz, and I love Denver. I had my whole entire professional career here back many, many years ago, since 1999. And after I wrote my book in 2015, I said, I want to seek my fortune elsewhere. I went to California, and what a crazy journey it's been the last 10 years, so I feel very happy to be here. And we're going to talk about who's familiar with sound? Show of hands. Sound and frequency. Okay. Do you guys know why are you here specifically for this talk? Is there something particular that you're interested in and want to learn about? Or are you just tired, your feet hurt, and want to just sit here? That's okay. That's an acceptable answer too, because you're going to get some really amazing information that you've probably never heard before. So, anyhow, we're going to talk about how to experience the science of vibroacoustic therapy and cellular regeneration. Who wants to reverse aging? Show of hands. Who believes that aging is a curable disease? Be honest. Who would like to cure that disease? Hello, welcome. My new friend Ari, glad you'd be here. Do you believe that aging is a curable disease?
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah. 110, and you just like.
No, actually, I'm 333 years old.
Okay, it works.
So that's what
You
we
want
are.
to get on the vibe.
And, we're doing it. So let's get into it here. So yeah, my name is Dr. Stephen Schwartz. I'm a chiropractor by license. I'm the president and founder of a company called Bioharmonic Technologies. We create something called the Vibe Systems. This is my book, Primal Resonance, that basically talks about the top 10 ways on how to reverse aging and degeneration using sound, light, frequency, and vibration. And really it encompasses the first 14 years I spent in clinical practice and in Denver. And really what I'm going to be sharing with you are the applied sciences. Who knows Bruce Lipton? I've heard of Bruce Lipton. A few people. Now he's the guy that coined the phrase epigenetics. And if you don't know about epigenetics, what that means is that the environment actually changes the way your genes express themselves. And I remember listening to him speak, and it's like, and he explains all this stuff. I was like, that's amazing. I was like, well, what's the applied science? And he starts talking about like subconscious mind reprogramming. And I'm like, I think that is the highest expression of how to change, how to influence epigenetics. So I'm going to be talking about that. I'm a chiropractor by license, visionary tech designer. I've designed biofeedback machines in the past. I create sonic pseuticals, which is the musical programs that play through this technology we'll be talking about. And really, I'm a regenerative medicine expert. My background is reversing chronic degenerative conditions, allergies, autoimmune diseases. In Denver, Colorado, we were reversing, it was like a last resort center. But they didn't know where to go. They just sent them to weird and wacky Dr. Schwartz. Dr. Schwartz, and whatever he does works. Now, that is called biohacking. But really, it's nothing new. We're just tapping into the way the body is optimized. And when it happens, chronic things become better. And really, in the second phase of my career, I'm more of a human optimization facilitator, because when you're working with chronic illness, you're like sick or ill, and then you get to not ill, and that means you're at the baseline. Great, now you're no longer sick, you're no longer in pain, you no longer have brain fog. Where do you want to go next? That blows out a lot of people. Like, what do you mean? And yeah, what's the highest expression of yourself? That's really the fun question to ask. And this is part of it. Also, I'm in a movie. I'm in a couple of movies. Biohack Yourself is a documentary on biohacking, and it's on Amazon Prime. Also, there's another movie called Beyond Physical Matter, which is on Gaia. And I'm one of 16 amazing healers that talk about quantum physics and consciousness. Enough about me, though. Let's get into the details. I mean, this is really what we're faced with right now. Imagine living a more vibrant life. You know, right now, bodies are aging faster than ever before, stress, fatigue, inflammation. Who feels their level, okay, who feels any level of stress in this room? Show of hands. Okay. How old are you there with the hat to that?
What?
How old are you?
14.
14. Do you feel stress in your life?
Not really.
Okay, good. All right, well, you raised your hand. Who else raised their hand about stress? What level of 10 is the most stress ever? 0 is no stress at all. What numbers would, just throw out numbers. What number stress are you guys experiencing? 5? What number? 4? All right, what about you? 8, okay. See, that's real stress. 4 or 5, and we live in cities and all these things. How about fatigue? How many people suffer from fatigue in the room? What number do you put on fatigue? 8. Anybody? You have fatigue? Inflammation. Who feels they have inflammation in the room? Okay, inflammation. So these are all related, by the way. What numbers would you put on inflammation? 10 being the worst inflammation, 0 being bad. Just throw out some numbers. 3. Okay, that's low inflammation. 4. Okay. So I don't have enough time to get into detail with this, but I will say that this is my book. The first chapter of the book is called "The New Epidemic in America," and it talks about the new epidemic in America talks about chronic systemic inflammation, which is really kind of what it's all about, and how to reverse that process. So chronic fatigue, brain fog, struggling to keep focus on work and family, all these things. So we have an ability to reverse this process. And really, there's one of two things happening. You're either regenerating or you're degenerating. There's really no middle ground. And however, there's specific things that you can do that can add to the regenerative process. Who wants to regenerate? Show of hands. Okay. Who feels in here that they are degenerating at a quicker rate than they would like? Show of hands. I mean, I think that's a legit question. I mean, I'm definitely getting older. I was looking at my picture, and I'm like, wow, that's upgrade my picture. I look a little older than I was before. But I'm feeling that my level of activation can be you can reverse the process. And it's actually a very specific kind of way of doing it. So I'm going to share with you some of the science on that. Are you guys interested in learning a little bit about some of the fundamentals of aging? Is that an interesting topic, or is that a boring topic? You guys with me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And this is how we're going to do it. This is, for 25 years of my career, I spent really kind of studying vibration and frequency, and at the cellular level, what is the applied science? What's something easy for humanity to experience that can change their vibe and change their life? And we're going to get into this. Is called the Vibrational Individualized Body Enhancement System. We're in booth 121, which is just you walk here, you'll see us just up the steps right across from the food, and we are experiencing this. But really what I see as we're doing this modern kind of experience, this is really ancient. And really when we look at this, some of the earlier days, this is me playing the didgeridoo. This was the original download that I got. I need to learn to play the didge back in 20 years ago. And the Aborigines, these go back, they say basically 40,000, even 70,000 years ago. And the Unaki, which is known as the didgeridoo, they would say that by playing that, it resonates with the vibration of the earth. They would take people on shamanic journeys, and they say it's a way of connecting with their ancestors. So they're using sound and vibration to connect to their ancestors 70,000 years ago. What I look at that is that's a way of clearing cellular memory, ancestral trauma that exists through time. And so this is nothing new. And we move into a little more modern time, but still from a long time ago, Pythagoras. And he founded all the mystery schools, which I think is really fascinating. They've been all over the world, in Greece and Egypt and Babylon and Persia and India, and all of these places had these studies of these mystery school teachings. It was all based off of math and music. And this was the fundamentals. And we look at any healing modality that exists, anything, acupuncture, Ayurveda, what's another one? Homeopathy, chiropractic, any of these things, all of it go back to the most ancient teachings. It all has foundational roots in sound. Hawaiian Huna, shamanism, and everything. And Pythagoras, the message of these mystery schools are still seen in every aspect of healing today. So I've studied a lot of these things over the years, and this is the foundation of what we're working with now. And just in most modern time, even something as mainstream as Harvard Medical School or the New England Institute of the American Journal of Medicine. Wow, that's about as west as goes. They are talking about the sound and effects of music as medicine. So we went from 70,000 years ago to the modern times. This is what's looked at now, and really, if we look at these studies, we get into them, they're talking about different aspects of the brain and exposing them to different levels of music, timbre, and having them light up and having a different effect on the body for a variety of different physiological effects. And this is about as mainstream as it gets. But I want to get into why that is. The guy that did the presentation here right before me, Tay, he has a biohacking center. And I was asking him, I was like, what's your background? He's like, I'm a physicist and a mathematician. And he was sharing with me all these fascinating studies about other people that are doing some esoteric studies around sound and vibration. And I said, you should come and sit in on my class, because I'm going to be talking about actually the anatomy and physiology of why this works. So I'm going to share with this very briefly, and I promise you this is not going to be boring. I think it's actually very fascinating, and it's simple. And this explains why we as humans operate so well to sound and to frequency and vibration. And there's a process known as the piezoelectric effect. Who's heard of the piezoelectric effect? What do you know about the piezoelectric? Why have you heard of that before?
From like the pineal gland and also like computer chips, basically like crystals, like vibration crystals.
See, thank you for sharing. And that's exactly, they talk about the crystalline structures of our bodies and the pineal gland, and we're here at the Mind Body Spirit Festival. Of course, people are going to be aware of that kind of principle here. But when we go into where the root of the piezoelectric effect actually comes from, which is being applied into more of these metaphysical concepts, it's actually an engineering term. It's a term used in thermodynamics, and it says, piezoelectric effect says that in a living system, when two objects move around one another, it creates a natural, organic electromagnetic field. So we're a living system. And if we think about, like, I take my elbow and I move my elbow, that's it's moving, so it generates an electromagnetic field. But if we go deeper than this macro movement of my bones or my muscles, when we go down into the cells, there's hundreds of trillions of cells, we go to subatomic particles, protons, neutrons, electrons. There's vibration and spinning occurring now. So there's 100 trillion cells that exist in our bodies, and inside of them there's infinite numbers of these protons, neutrons, and electrons, all moving and spinning, creating an electromagnetic field. And if we think about that at that scale, we have more energy for forever. Like, we'll never run out of energy. So for us to be having chronic fatigue or anything like that shows that there has to be something in this three-dimensional reality that is inhibiting that level of energy from coming through, which is an interesting concept. Now, on the other end of that, as we're kind of moving things out through another level, there's another concept known as photonic emission. Who's heard of photonic emission?
Like just light emitted from an object.
Exactly. Well, photon means light, emission, letting go of light. But how does that show up? It's a scientific term that shows when these protons, neutrons, and electrons. You guys, when I say that, you understand what I'm talking about? Subatomic particles. Protons, neutrons make a nucleus, and then you have these spinning electrons. They have these things called electron shells. Every time an electron moves from shell to shell, or cloud to cloud, there is a release of energy and a spark of light. That is called photonic emission. And this is not the world according to Dr. Schwartz. This is physics. This is like standard physics. They talk about photonic emission. So now picture 100 trillion cells, picture protons, neutrons, and electrons, and then we picture every time that there is a movement of an electron, there's a spark of light. And inside of every single cell, there's, I don't know, basically an infinite number of these lights. So now we have this ball, or basically a ball of light. And just visualize this, guys. This is you, okay? This is you in your current dimensional reality. And, okay, this is, share with me your name again?
Melody.
Melody. This is Melody with her, 8 out of 10 fatigue and 8 out of 10. This is you in the space right here. If we change the way that the electrons orient themselves to here, you're now a 2 or a 0. So all we have to do is change the way that the electrons orient themselves, and we literally align ourselves into a new dimensional reality. And what's a dimension? It's a measurable space. Another, we talk about quantum physics, and I want to talk about these vibes are interdimensional portals. Okay, doctor, who's going to get up and walk out? Dr. Schwartz is talking about crazy interdimensional portals. What is a portal? It's a doorway or a gateway. And what's a dimension? It's a measurable space. And what's between two measurable space? And quantum physics says that if you can align, quantum physics says that we are infinite dimensions. And what dictates what dimension we are in is the vibrational resonance that we're in. So if we change our vibrational resonance, we change the dimensional reality. Easier said than done, but how do we change that? Through releasing ancestral trauma. This is also where we can work with our mind and other aspects like that. But we start seeing, I want to share with you, I didn't share with this photonic emission, we're basically like a ball of light, right? Did anybody get their auras read? Did anybody get their aura pictures read yet? Here? We had some people jump and do that earlier. And your purples, your oranges, your whites, that is your piezoelectric effect. That's your photonic emission. But you're saying, well, why is it not everybody can see that? Because we're grounded into a three-dimensional reality. And this is the thing, when you take light and you slow down light, you slow it down along the electromagnetic field spectrum, light turns into sound. And when you slow down sound, it turns into vibration. So essentially, we are grounded light into a dimensional reality. And if we can liberate this process to where we become disorganized, we can reorganize ourselves into a new dimensional reality. And how do we do that? With sound, light, frequency, and vibration. Now, why do I prefer to use sound and vibration as modality? Because there's a bridge between Because the light has deeper penetration. It penetrates into the DNA, and there's lots of therapeutic benefits for that, which I am 100% on board with. 100%. However, if I'm wanting to connect at the connective tissue level to change the way that our bodies, to release cellular trauma, I want to slow down light, and I want to have that interaction, that interplay between the quantum and Newtonian world. Because we are in three-dimensional, but there's a space where we're four-dimensional, five-dimensional, 10-dimensional. So there's something happens. There is a nexus point. And I believe that the way you can interplay with that is through sound and vibration. And that is specifically why I'm working with the modality that I am here. You guys with me?
Yeah.
Is that interesting?
Yes.
Is that information you've heard before?
No.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense, right?
And so you'll be raising our vibrations in essence.
Yeah, raising our vibration. Exactly. And now where does it actually show up in the physical world? And now the anatomy of bioresonance. Am I boring anybody? Is this boring?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's check. This can be a little dry. But our cells, we talked about these, whatever, infinite numbers of subatomic particles, but if we pull that out to cells, your cells only consist of two things: water and a living connective tissue matrix framework that gives the water shape. If we didn't have shape, it would be a blob down here. But what gives us shape is this thing called the living connective tissue matrix. And the water has three properties. Holds memory, is conductive, and dilutes and detoxifies. That's what water does. So the more water we have, the more we dilute and detoxify. If you're toxic, you're dehydrated. What's the number one best way of detoxifying? Increase your consumption of water, good water, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. And then the next part of that is conductive. Now, not all water is conductive. In fact, we're going to talk about molecular hydrogen in just a bit. They use distilled water, and I was literally doing my research about it because you don't want to have, there's no minerals in there, but it's using an electrolysis process. I'm going to hold off until we talk about molecular hydrogen. So let's not talk about that. Just be with me. The more we can conduct, the more we can move energy in our bodies. And in cellular memory, well, you can have amazing cellular memory about being an amazing musician or an artist or an athlete, but you can also have a lot of trauma around divorce and trauma and whatever the negative stuff is. So how do we clear that cellular memory process? And the way that this is conducted is through something called an exoskeleton or the living connective tissue matrix that gives shape and structure to the body and receives information. And the living connective tissue matrix consists of three very fun words to say that I invite all of you to say with me right now. Repeat after me. Microfilaments. Come on, we can do better. It's 8 o'clock at night. Microfilaments.
Microfilaments.
Microtubules.
Microtubules.
And intermediate tubules.
Intermediate tubules.
They're kind of fun, right? I've been saying them for so long, I don't think they're that fun anymore. But anyhow, they seem fun at a time. But they have one biological function. They do one thing. They respond to your environment through vibrational resonance.
And
And
so
this
is
is
that
not-
our skin?
Well, I'm going to share with you in just a second. And this is, once again, this is not the world according to Dr. Schwartz. This is like mainstream textbooks. You read this in textbooks of medicine. They talk about microfilaments, microtubules, intermediate tubules, and they make up the shape of our fascia, of our living. So it's in our skin. It's also around our bones. It's around our brain. It's around our skin. It's around every single tissue system in our body. And what gives us shape is the living connective tissue matrix. If I was going to quote a book where you want to go deep on this, his name is James Oshman. He wrote a book called The Scientific Basis of Energy Medicine. And he goes deep into this topic. He inspired me 20 plus years ago on this topic. And really, he's the main person that kind of got me going in this area. So I invite you, if you want to go deeper in this topic, that's where I would go. But basically, let's just backtrack. Let's review real quick. What do our cells do? It's water that conducts, holds memory, dilutes and detoxifies, and is surrounded by a vibratory antenna that receives information from your environment, hello Bruce Lipton, epigenetics, through vibrational resonance. So now, in my mind, when I was formulating these theories, I said, well, if that's the case, then I just need to put vibrational resonance of specific things into the body, and it's going to change biochemistry. And I might have taken out these. I did. I kind of took out these cells. So I'll just give you the synopsis. I'll give you the synopsis of this. But essentially, what we're talking about here, this is what creates biochemistry. And every single biological feature, every biological function of the body originates at the living connective tissue matrix level. Every single thing. So in my book, I talk about mitosis and signal transduction. And if you don't know what those things are, mitosis is how our cells replicate. As soon as the sperm fertilizes the egg, we go into a hypermitotic experience, and and everything starts spreading out. We go from 1 cell to 2 cells to 4 cells to 100 trillion cells, and then we hit a point of just regeneration over and over again, and then we go into a place of degeneration where it begins to get altered as well. And then signal transduction, signal information transduces, transducts, moves information into the nucleus of our cells and creates biochemistry. What biochemistry? It depends on the signal. Are you having crappy signals? Are you having crappy food, crappy air, crappy thoughts, crappy nutrition, all these things coming in, and that's going to create crappy biochemistry. If you have good information coming in, good nutrition, good thoughts, good relationships, good hydration, you're going to have good biochemistry. It's really just that simple. So when I was designing this technology, I just said, let's just put high vibes into the body and create high vibe expression. Pretty simple, right? And it works. So this is the last of like the dry science stuff. A little bit, maybe. But this is important because people always say, Dr. Schwartz, can we just listen to your information like through headphones, or can we just listen to a speaker in the body? Because why do we need to lay on a bed that vibrates? And because I'm wanting to address something called the ectoderm, or the ectodermal tissue of the body. And why is that important? And what is the ectoderm? And we talked about the sperm fertilizing the egg. That, as soon as that happens, you begin to develop as a human. And there's 3 biological materials that form. Something called the ectoderm, one called the mesoderm, one called the endoderm. Super quick. Endoderm is what forms all the hollow, like your organs, the hollow organs and your circulatory system. Mesoderm is what forms your blood and your bones. And the ectoderm is what forms the nervous system. It's what forms the brain, the spinal cord, the peripheral nerves, the cranial nerves, your enteric nervous system. This is all as I said, there's more neurological connections in your gut than anywhere else in your body. That's from the ectoderm. Also, it forms the skin and the living connective tissue matrix. And it's the first of these germ levels to develop. It's the first thing that develops. So this is the beginning, and this is, if we can influence the most ancient, primitive, primal tissues of our cells, we can control healing. And this is why when we're doing brainwave state entrainment or meditation or hypnosis or anything like that, we're focusing on the brain, we're missing the other 90% of the ectodermal tissues that respond exactly the same way. So if you're doing like hypnosis, where I'm putting you under some kind of trance, and you're listening to binaural beats in the ears, you can do binaural beats into the body, and it's going to entrain quicker and faster and quicker and more and deeper and overall better. Like, why only do 10%? You can do 100%. And that's why we're using full body activation. You guys with me? The ectoderm. Nobody's talking about ectoderm. Except for me. Now it's going to use it on TikTok and be like, Dr. Schwartz is talking about ectoderm. Exactly. So these are the musical programs that we created. They're called Sonic Pseuticals. And sonic is sound, pseuticals means healing. So these are not pharmaceuticals, but sonic pseuticals. And we have a variety of different programs. And this is our music menu. It's funny we're at the Mind, Body, Spirit celebration because we actually have a music menu that we break down mind, body, spirit here. And this is one way of looking at, these are all the different benefits. And I want to share with you a very important equation that I work with. And you guys repeat after me. Intention.
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 Plus
Plus
resonance
resonance
equals
equals
transformation.
transformation.
Intention plus resonance equals transformation. And why is this so important? Because when you have an intention, you have something, there's something called scalar energy, which people have a hard time defining. I say the definition of scalar is information at the speed of consciousness. And being able to bring in the scalar energy with your intention, it's what allows you to then dial into a sonic suitable program. Because if I say to you, like Sarah was talking about earlier today, she's like, oh, this is my favorite program. And they were like, oh, I really like, that's great, Sarah. But what happened with that same guy was we kind of put him on the hot seat and said, what's your intention? And he kind of squirmed and all this stuff, but he ended up coming to a very powerful intention. And then once he knew what his intention was, we then said, find the program that is in resonance with that program. And then he went in and had a very profound experience. And we created transformation in his life. And so part of this healing modality is, and I know Ari, she was at my house yesterday, or the night before, and I think I said that to you, right? Intention plus resonance equals transformation. And she dropped in for like 2 hours. But we got her dialed in on what the intention is. So I invite each and every one of you, and whether you're going to use it for my technology or not, this is probably one of the most powerful equations that you could ever use, because if you want to bring yourself into a transformational state, if you don't know what the intention is, how are you going to transform? You're just kind of leaving it up, you're just bouncing through the universe. But if you're intentional, you can just say, if an action's happening, you're like, why am I here? This doesn't feel right to me. You can go back to, well, what's my intention? Like, my intention is to get married. Okay, well then, if I'm out on this date, is this taking me to get to that space? No. Well then, I'm not aligned. It's not going to transform my life. I'm here to become a billionaire. Okay, I'm sitting here working this job. Is this job going to get me? Is it my intention to get me to that goal of being a billionaire? No. Well then, we need to find something else. See, so you need to get in resonance with the intention to create the transformation. And that's why we apply this to this technology. And these are the albums that we've created. Energy clearing. This is like for PTSD and for clearing negative energy out of your body, like a sonic sage. Cellular attunement is designed for 12 different emotional relationships for clearing cellular memory at the emotional level. Sonic Pharmaceuticals Volume 1 has 9 different physical healing protocols for stem cell activation, wound healing, bone and tissue regeneration, a bunch of other stuff. Cell Cleanser is an anti-inflammatory detox protocol. Spectrum is great for anything on the spectrum disorders, ADD, depression, anxiety. People even note having a DMT experience with this. And then Transformation and Abundance is a future pacing. So now you're laying on the vibe system, and you have an intention of, I want to create X, I want to be, I am, whatever. Now we have a future pacing protocol that's going to support you in that. And the Journey is also a future pacing protocol album that talks about, that has a program for self-actualization, a tribal jungle journey, grounding jungle journey, and a spaceship ride to Pluto. So many different options here. And now we vibrate this into the body. And I want to share with you another very powerful equation. I'm going to share with you an equation. This is the equation for longevity. Okay, this is going to sound crazy, but it's real. And I ended up naming this because I got invited to speak. Okay, let me just say that because I don't have to say it. This is the equation for longevity and immortality. Please don't get up and walk out. But anyhow, like immortality, like dude, I got invited to speak at the conference for immortality. And I was speaking at it, and so I started thinking about it. I was like, wow, everybody here's dying. Like everybody's gonna, you know, in fact, one of the founders just died of like cancer. But they believe in the research of life extension and how to live an immortal life. And they talk about even if you're living in your physical body, how can you be immortal, you know, in your actions and your actions. So very interesting. But I started thinking about it, and I was like, how can you be immortal? Like, why do people die? And I believe that they die because they're dehydrated. Because when you're dehydrated, Dr. James Oshman, the same book that I was referring to earlier, he said a 10% reduction in cellular hydration results in a reduction in cellular physiology by 1 million times. And here's a little side note. When people are dying of like quote unquote naturally old age, natural causes, guess what amount of hydration, like if there's a 10% reduction, like what percent hydration would you think somebody would be dying of natural causes of like old age? Just throw out some numbers.
70%.
70%? Any other numbers? What do you guys think? Don't know.
85.
Any numbers? Care to venture? 50%. So this is, I think it's very, just speak with me guys. You're born at like 90% water, and you're dying at 50% water. So the difference between life and death is only 40%. That's basically a 4 million time reduction in the way that our cells are conducting themselves. And so this, repeat after me, this is the equation for longevity and mortality. Hydrate,
Hydrate.
vibrate,
Vibrate.
gyrate.
Gyrate.
Hydrate, vibrate, gyrate. And why is that? It's fun, and it's a fun equation to say, but really if you're hydrating, and what happens when you're hydrated? You're conducting, you're clearing cellular memory, you're detoxifying. Those are all important things for longevity and immortality, right? And then we add in specialized high vibrations into a connective living nature. Our cells begin to optimally gyrate. And we can gyrate at the macro level. We can gyrate in many different ways, dancing, moving around, yoga, all these things. But at the subatomic level, we want optimal gyration because you know what rigor mortis means? You know what rigor mortis is? Who knows what rigor mortis is? When you're dead.
Stiffen up.
Yeah, you're stiff.
Yeah.
It's a stiff, right? That's a lack. Rigor mortis means rigor is rigorous. Mortis, death. It's a lack of movement. Rigor mortis. So this is gyrate. When you are gyrating at a high vibration, fully hydrated, you are optimally functioning. And I really believe that you can actually live maybe forever. And I think as we're raising our vibration, and that's it. But I want to share with you, this is a slide that we're putting in with molecular hydrogen. Who's ever heard of molecular hydrogen? Anyone? So molecular hydrogen is the first element on the periodic table. And it's a very strong antioxidant. And really, there's a lot of hydrogen water bottles that you can drink now. What we're working with is medical grade. There's all kinds of studies showed about the effects of medical grade molecular hydrogen on the body, and it regenerates the nervous system. And so you can drink it, but you can also inhale it. You can put it on through your ears. You can also put it on your eyes, and it heals glaucoma and other visual issues through this very strong, it's a gas. So you're either going to inhale it and you can drink it. And they have specific protocols showing that, I mean, these are crazy protocols, but they're saying that if you use 600 milliliters per minute, that's medical dose, that's a very high medical dose of molecular hydrogen, for an hour, twice a day, for 10 days, plus drinking the water. And I don't know exactly what the dose is for drinking the water. They say that you're seeing improvements in regression of dementia and other neurological conditions like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and things like that. That's amazing. So we're working with that in conjunction. So this is our hydrate, vibrate, optimal gyrate human optimization program that we're working together. And that's what we're featuring here at this event, and this is really what we're putting out to the world to help people reach a higher level of longevity, and if you want, immortality. That's up to you. Here's just a couple of cool testimonials. The vibe changed my life. I thought I was stuck with medication, and there was no other way out. But anyhow, I don't know. Amazing. I felt out of it. I felt out of it like I was teleported to a completely different world where there's no noise, no stress, no crowd. It's so beautiful. Honestly, it felt like a rebirth. You have to experience this. In today's hustle and bustle lifestyle, this is necessary. Amazing. So these are some of the testimonials. I don't think we're going to have audio for this. Listen, do you guys hear? There you go. It's an amazing testimonial, and we have many, many just like that. How are we with time? Where are we talking?
2:45.
Okay, cool. Perfect. You guys good so far?
Yeah.
All right, good. How you doing back there? You bored? Interesting? Okay, cool. I think this is a really interesting topic. And the reality of it is, you know, we can share all the science, we can do all these things, but at the end of the day, like, how are people feeling? And people, like, discount that, like, oh, you know, like, what's your medical research on it? You know, and if you have somebody like that, just have an experience, I don't really care about the medical research. I feel like I need to share it because that's what people are expecting, and I want to see it just kind of, quote-unquote, validated. But if I have a world of people having experience like that by laying, I think she lay down for like a couple hours on the bike, and she's never been to the ambulance to the hospital ever again. She has another crazy story about how she beat a 19-year severe alcohol addiction as well. So lots of amazing things. So I wanted to share with you a couple of things we're going to touch on. There's a lot of new information coming out about sound. This is the International Journal of Molecular Sciences, and these are mainstream journals, and they're showing the effects of mitochondria and its effects of sound. And that's just, so we're not going to get into this. This is the research that we particularly have done. This is based off of the vibe. There's something, who's heard of HRV, or heart rate variability? Who's heard of that? Nobody? So heart rate variability, you guys need to know that this is important. This is the gold standard diagnostic test for showing that the body is, for showing functions in autonomic nervous system regulation. Does anybody know what that means in this room? Okay, so these are important words to know. Autonomic nervous system. Everything that is running your body without you thinking about it. So your heart, your lungs, your digestive system, every single thing you think about. And there's two parts to this automatic nervous system. One's called sympathetic nervous system, one's called parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is fight or flight. Fight or flight is the dinosaur is trying to eat you and you're running to try to live. That's the primal resonance of sympathetic nervous system. Stress. The other side is parasympathetic. This is rest and repair. Now, the world that we live in with electromagnetic foods, with a crappy diet, with relationships, just all of the stress that's going on in our lives, we are stuck and trapped in sympathetic. And when we're stuck in sympathetic, it puts stress on our, picture this like driving your car on like full throttle all the time. That's sympathetic nervous system. You never take your foot off the gas, you never relax. So autonomic HRV is the definitive gold standard test for heart rate variability, for autonomic nervous system regulation. And this is a case study that we did to show parasympathetic. Parasympathetic is when your body is in rest and repair. Now I'm going to share a very profound statement for you. Whatever modality you may be doing for healing, if you're treating any condition, if your body is not in parasympathetic, if your body is not in parasympathetic, your biochemistry is not optimized for healing. Period. Now there's lots of other modalities, there's lots of other things going on, but if you have cancer, if you have autoimmune diseases, if you have depression, if you have, just go down the list, whatever it is, PTSD, pick a condition. If you want to heal that, your biochemistry that will automatically work to optimize yourself for healing to the highest expression, you have to go into parasympathetic. And but the cool thing is, when you go into parasympathetic, your body's biochemistry naturally, automatically will begin to release biochemical cascades that support healing naturally. It's pretty amazing, right? So if you're having any issues, the first thing you say, hey, let's go into parasympathetic. So this is just one case study that we did. This is a heart rate variability test. And this was a 28-year-old woman, and 26-year-old woman. And we did the study. She did a before, this is before vibing, and 30 minutes later after vibing. And we're showing this is her emotional state, and it was at a 42. And after vibing and retesting 30 minutes later, it went to a 70. This is a really interesting finding. This is her brainwave states before. This is delta and theta and alpha, beta, and gamma. These are all the brainwave states. See all this activity going on? This is what her brain looked like before vibing. 20 minutes of vibing, everything balanced except for a peak in delta, which is present really when your body is optimizing biochemistry. It's happening in delta. In the middle area here, this shows for biological age versus chronological age. Remember the equation, hydrate, vibrate, gyrate. That's the equation for longevity and immortality. This is showing that her biological age versus chronological age. She was 26, this is 29 before vibing. After vibing, she was 26, went to 23. Hydrate, vibrate, gyrate. The equation for immortality and longevity. And then this last slide over here on the right, this shows very clearly when they talk about sympathetic versus parasympathetic. In the chiropractic world, there's something called craniosacral technique. Who's heard of craniosacral technique? A few people. Craniosacral, cranium, sacrum. The reason that they do that is because it puts your body into parasympathetic. And this is showing the blue and the green is lit up. And so the opposite of sympathetic is when your thoracolumbar areas are elevated. So this is The body's in sympathetic on the right, on the left. And then 30 minutes later, it went to parasympathetic. That's what that. And this is just one case study that we did showing this. And this is with HRV. What I'm going to share with you is the most recent testing that we did. Actually, not recent. Last year we did this preliminary study based off of the mitochondria. And we're showing that the study showed that after just one session, the mitochondrial energy improved significantly. Oxidative stress, one of the biggest aging factors, dramatically reduces, and the nervous system shifted into parasympathetic. So I want to show you some of these responses that we saw. This study was done with mitochondrial blood testing, and just a pinprick. And it was tested with a mitochondrial assay. The guy that developed this created a mitochondrial testing for NASA. So NASA paid him to do this for astronauts. And we use those same tests. And so the pictures up on top, you see this, the one that's kind of in the orange-red. This was the subject before vibing, 5 to 20 minutes, and we saw a significant reduction in reactive oxygen species in the mitochondria just after 20 minutes. And when something like that happens, that is what happens when you see in the presence of an antioxidant. Like if we were working with molecular hydrogen, you probably see something similar to that as well too. But we're using sound and vibration. That's the amazing part about this. Sound and vibration is showing this. And talking with the guy that made the test, he told me that he's done thousands of tests. They do like a lot of like Navy SEALs and extreme sport people like that. And he said he's never seen such a quick change than this response with anything he's ever tested before, which I thought was amazing. So reaction oxidative species are known as ROS. Mitochondria produces a normal amount of reactive oxidative stress at rest. And that's what we're showing. And we're at the baseline, the mitochondrial network dynamics, cells are connected at rest and manage stress well. That's what we're showing after. So we're creating a sonic antioxidant, which is an incredible finding. Now we said, okay, cool. What happens if we expand? What if we get more people in on this? What if we vary the whole field of like we have older people, younger people, people that vibe before, people never vibe before, people with autoimmune diseases, people with PTSD. We added all those people into this test, and we had everybody vibe every day for a week. We did it before and after. And what this shows is that the vibe boosts mitochondrial reserve capacity, enhancing stem cell performance. And when you increase the functionality of your mitochondria, you guys all know mitochondria? I'm sorry, I might have rushed over that. Who does not know what mitochondria is? Raise your hand. Okay, that's it, you can know that. Mitochondria are your cellular batteries. They exist in every one of your cells. And actually, they say that the performance athletes, you generate more mitochondria, which increases more oxygenation. And people that you see that are like extreme sport athletes, Olympians, people that do things like that, they have a higher amount of mitochondrial production actually in your cells. And so when you can increase oxygenation of your cells, you're reducing oxidative stress, rusting basically, toxins that exist inside of your body. There's something called aerobic versus anaerobic disease. Anaerobic disease is like cancers, autoimmune diseases. These thrive in areas of reduced oxygenation. So if you can add oxygenation to the body, this is why we're using molecular hydrogen. This is why we're showing this test, is that after 20 minutes of vibing for a week, we were able to see, actually what's important is this is a statistical thing, that with just 1 week of 20 minutes daily sessions, clients experience improved cellular energy production without affecting baseline respiration with a p-value of 0.02. What that means in statistical analysis, anything less than 0.05, you're popping the champagne bottle. Like if you're doing a result, like that's amazing. Like anything, if you're doing a 0.05 for like statistical analysis, that's incredible. Our test came back 0.02. Basically, everybody responded. Essentially, is what we saw. Just by doing 20 minutes of vibing every day for a week. And this is, once again, this is our study. We're showing you, this is the findings that we showed, is the oxidation, mitochondrial resilience the OCR, the oxygen consumption ratio in the mitochondria. This is showing that your mitochondria is increasing the ability to take in oxygen. It's producing more oxygen. Anybody familiar with hyperbaric chambers? Hyperbaric chambers, their whole premise is that they improve this. That's why they're using hyperbaric chambers, to increase mitochondrial production. We're doing it with sound. Not to take away from what I'm saying, this is another avenue that's showing the same results. It's really pretty incredible finding. It was incredible for me to see it. So I know we're running out of time. I want to share with you, how is this relevant? How is this relevant? What does oxygenation mean in the body? I want to share with you conditions that are affected by reduced oxygen. Cancer, arthritis, fibromyalgia, chronic infections, chronic inflammation, cardiovascular disease, chronic fatigue syndrome. How many people in the room know people affected with this or are affected with it? Show of hands. We've heard of all these conditions. Well, when you improve aerobic performance, like our test just showed, these are the effects. You remove pathogens, molds, and viruses. You improve wound healing. You improve microcirculation. You improve cellular energy output. You improve cardiovascular health. You improve brain function. Improve immune system function. Improve athletic performance. You reduce stress, better sleep, reduce inflammation, and accelerate detoxification. Who doesn't want that? So this is, if you're saying what's in it for me, this is what's in it for you through 20 minutes of vibing every day. So yeah, these are 2 products. Right now, what we're featuring in our Vibe Zone, our interdimensional portal zone, which we invite you guys to come see, is the Vibe Go. And we actually have some new, Leslie, who was sitting here, had to leave. She's got a Vibe Pro. She's using it with mushrooms, psychedelics. Yeah. So using this is a great tool for psychedelic assisted therapy. We're using it with molecular hydrogen. There's other ways that you can stack. PEMF is great with this. Red light therapy is in conjunction with this. These are some things, travel bags. These are all the different components that come with the Vibe. If you guys are interested in learning more about it, definitely come over to our booth tomorrow and on Sunday. And this is the brains of it is our Vibrafile app. And with the Vibrafile app, you get access to all the music. You get access to 21 preset protocols. And you also get a copy, actually you get a copy of my book as well too. But this is what it's all about. And just 1 second.
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead. Actually, go ahead.
I just want to state that I tried your vibe on Wednesday,
Yep.
and I was just in it for maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and I significantly didn't feel it. And so that, I'm so here for that because the results were really nice, and I feel like this has a lot of potential, if not already. It's my second time hearing about it, and so I'm very excited to try further.
Okay.
So.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
These ladies here, we were at a startup week, and we got coerced into an after party. That went very late, but you know what though? We had the vibe there, and we didn't even have any booze.
Yeah, at all.
And we were vibing, and this is the New Earth after party when you can be in a party. We were all vibing.
Yeah, no,
It was party till 3. We cut it at 3:33 because we all had work to do on Thursdays. But at the end of the day, this is we're making a shift away, and the vibe was set up, and these young ladies came over and got on the vibe and had a profound experience, and it was awesome. So thank you for coming, for being here. And then I also just want to share with you, this day and age, I think this day and age, everybody's familiar with sound healing. Okay, there's bowls and gongs and all that, which I love, and I do my own sound healing journeys. And then you see there's music that's on YouTube and stuff like that. Like, oh, this is therapeutic music. And they have music with some brainwave states. You can go online, you can put in some Hertz music into it. You can do that. Just because you're doing that does not make the music a sonic pseudocol. I've been researching frequencies since 2007. I've been formulating conditions for my patients for reversing chronic illness since 2000. I'm taking that knowledge and wisdom and formulating 5 to 7 layers of specific therapeutic construction ingredients with specific mathematical ratios that are targeting the living connective tissue matrix. We're including brainwave states. We're also including sacred geometry. Like, how do you put that into music? That's one of our popular things. And also we're using advanced music theory. And we're putting that together in something that somebody wants to listen to, and we're vibrating it into the ectodermal tissues that we talked about of the body, not just the brain. So can you use it on just the app with headphones? Yes. Can you put it through a speaker? Yes. Is it optimized through the vibe? Yes. And so I wanted to just share with you, this is not just your normal music. And this is the time when everybody breaks out their phone and scans the QR code. And everybody's been asking me for 10 years, Dr. Schwartz, is your book on Audible? No, it's not. And I'm happy to say that today, my book is on Audible in Spanish also. It's available in Spanish, habla español. Sí, claro. So download this QR code and get your book on Audible and listen to it in English and or in Spanish. And I think that's it. Thanks for vibing with me. Any yeah, go ahead. Any questions?
How much is a session?
How is the session? So you can do a demo, like a 7-minute session for like $10. We have a full, an extra $20, so $50 for a molecular hydrogen 5 session. And you know what? Everybody's been throwing the 50s at us. Throwing the 50s at us, and people have been having really profound experiences. It hasn't been that busy here today, but the people that have come by, I think everybody was like, let's just do the $50 session, and now these people, I think most of them are going to buy the Hydro Vibe.
And how much is it?
It's been a really amazing day here, day number 1. Any other questions? Yes.
So do you do like packages, or like do we have to like purchase like the actual like how does it work? Like how does like the
To buy a Hydro Vibe?
Yeah, or like
I mean, we have financing available. We have all kinds of financing available. I recommend talking to Sarah.
Okay.
This is her job. It's her job to do these things. But the reality of it is that we've never sold a vibe a day in our lives.
Okay.
We've let people know that they exist, and then people come to us like, how can we put one of these in our homes? And yes, there's a cost on them, but we have really, if you're really looking into the world of biohacking space, and I met my new friend Tay in the back. I want to give a shout out to Tay. This is his screen. He's let me use it, so thank you for the visuals. And also, what's the name of your biohacking center? Regenerate. When I walked in here first day, I was like, earlier today, I was like, I want to go see these guys. And then he spoke right before I did, and really amazing man. He's got an amazing facility, doing amazing things. So people like him is part of this New Earth activation for what we're doing. And this is just another modality that fits into facilities like this, but you can also put it into your home. And like, hey, I mean, how much does equipment cost? It's expensive.
My equipment? Yeah, a lot.
Exactly. Like, equipment's expensive. So we're sitting here like, listen, for $10,000, $11,000, you got yourself a turnkey system that you can hydrate, vibrate, and gyrate with, and work on optimizing your longevity and working on your mortality issues. And it's falling in lines nice. Now, I'm a big proponent of other biohacking things. It fits into your model. But I think there's a lot of people like, what can I do for myself?
Yeah.
So you can either go to a center like Tay's place where you can receive it, and she doesn't have one yet. We'll buy it on Monday probably. But anyhow, but Leslie has vibes, and we're expanding here in Denver. That's why I'm here actually, to expand our vibroacoustic community. I lived here for 16 years. This is my home. Since here I moved to California. I live in Tulum, Mexico, and I travel around the world extensively, expanding other communities. But I got to tell you, the one place that I feel most at home is here in Denver, and I'm really excited that the portal 10 years later is opening up for me to really grow this community with this technology. And what's interesting for me, just if I could share a quick final thought, I had to download to make this technology in Crystal, Colorado in 2009, where literally I had these pictures I couldn't get in my mind. It was like, I can't stop thinking about it. And I had them in my office from 2009 till 2012, and I was making music, my soniceuticals, and I was getting them tested scientifically, and I met my first mentor that was making a vibroacoustic sound bed, something I never even thought of those words before. You know, and he's like, oh, vibroacoustics. I'm like, oh, vibroacoustics. Like, wow, why had I never thought of that? Anyhow, I was talking about this for years, and even when I bought his sound bed, and then I moved to California. I wrote my book, and I moved to California, and I started a company. Next thing you know, I'm making my own. I started a company making my own vibrational sound beds. And it's been a journey, and really a personal journey. It's been like not easy. It's been easy. But now I come back here to Colorado, and my friends are like, Steve, I'm so proud of you. You actually like made that thing. And I forgot that I was thinking about it back then, you know, because I've been so wrapped up in the day-to-day, you forget where you came from. And so I just want to share with you, if you have a dream, or if you have a vision, and it's hard, if you really want to pursue it, just continue to pursue it. And when you look back, you've probably gone a lot further than you think that you have been. And I want to say that I just want to thank Colorado for all the love and blessing that it showers on me all the time, the people here. And I'd love to connect with each and every one of you. I'd love to have you come vibe with myself and Sarah all weekend. And I'm going to be here for another week after this, so if anybody wants to set up some kind of vibe experience, I'm available for that as well. And thanks for vibing with me.
Woohoo!